The finale of The Boys Season 3 showed Ashley deleting video evidence of Maeve being alive. Today, we'll talk about her actions and what that might mean for the character in Season 4. The newest CEO of VOD, Ashley Barrett, may have been a deceptive, self-serving liar, but she really seems to be changing for the better. Let's dive right in. First up, Ashley deleted footage of Maeve. Previously, we've seen Ashley as someone who lacks empathy toward other people. For the longest time, she has been just another self-serving, backstabbing corporate villain on the show. She's more concerned with promotional events and covering up the horrible acts of the Seven than she is about ethics or the morality of her actions. However, in the season finale, we saw Ashley make an active decision to go behind Homelander's back and defy him by deleting security footage of Maeve being rescued by the boys and after her nearly fatal fight with Soldier Boy. Ashley has always been compliant with Homelander and hasn't thought twice about what her actions could mean. Her allegiance to Homelander roots from the fact that she gets appointed to the powerful position as VOD CEO because Homelander recommends her name to the board after Stan Edgar is removed. Ashley does every horrible thing that is asked of her by the unhinged soup, just to ensure she doesn't lose it all as Edgar did. But this new shift in Ashley's secret acts of defiance certainly indicates that Ashley is no longer going to be Homelander's puppet. What caused this change of heart, though? Why did Ashley risk everything and hide Maeve's truth by deleting the footage? Ashley seems to be growing. It's a slow process, but it's definitely noteworthy. We have seen her as a detached monster for so long that we forget that this character could also have trauma of her own. The first time that Ashley showed signs of being more than just a one-dimensional character was when she showed a sliver of compassion for Maeve after she broke up with Elena. After Ashley lectures Maeve for being not a lesbian, Maeve tears up and shouts at Ashley to be a human for once. This gets through to Ashley, as she can sense how genuinely upset Maeve is, and she sincerely apologizes to her and promises to give her space. Around the same time, Ashley can also be seen being seriously disturbed by how psychotic Homelander really is, and begins to feel true sympathy for those who become the soup's victims. She even begins to feel truly bad for the other members of the Seven, because she can see how he terrorizes all of them to maintain his control over them. Let's be honest, it was obvious that this woman felt sorry for knocking Maeve out with gas before she could either escape or reveal to the authorities that she's been kept imprisoned by Homelander. The care that Ashley seems to have for Maeve is what drives her to act selflessly and delete any evidence of Maeve's survival to keep Homelander off her trail, though it could also be because she's done with Homelander bullying her. Another way of looking at Ashley's action could certainly be that she is done with Homelander knocking her around, making her do his dirty work, and her having to comply simply because she wants to maintain her powerful position. It could be that Ashley realized that as long as Homelander is around and kicking, she'll never truly have the control she longs to have. Thing is, she knew that the only person to ever make Homelander bleed was Maeve. This means that there's the hope of defeating Homelander still. Even if Maeve doesn't have her powers, the fact that she is teamed up with the boys means that she could be of help to them, and it's highly likely that Ashley was able to foresee that when she witnessed the footage of her surviving. The plot of the show really seems to be pointing in the direction of the boys finally getting a real shot at defeating Homelander. With Maeve on their side, Frenchie practically recruited Starlight by telling her she was one of them, and all of these absolutely badass, really strong soups now coming together as one. Starlight displayed her strength when she absorbed so much energy she made herself float above the ground, and actually overpowered Soldier Boy so the rest of the team could capture him. So clearly, Ashley knows that, and she'd go to any lengths to put an end to Homelander's reign of terror. And why shouldn't she? Especially after Homelander humiliated her by making her take off her wig in front of the Deep and A-Train, revealing what was left of her natural hair. But what could Ashley's actions mean for Season 4 of The Boys? Ashley's decision is definitely going to have massive repercussions on the show's 4th season. To begin, yet another CEO of VOD is out of Homelander's control and has gone rogue. We all saw how frustrated the soup became when Stan Edgar put restrictions on him, keeping him from doing insane things that mess up the reputation of the Seven. He absolutely hated it when Edgar made Starlight the co-captain of the Seven, meaning that any big decision that Homelander makes would require Starlight's approval, and that's what drove him over the edge. We hope that Ashley is maybe hopefully smarter than Edgar and will be more discreet about working against Homelander. But let's suppose, if he were to figure out what his new CEO, whom he thought he could easily control, was capable of doing, we're just worried about what he might do to her. The worst thing Homelander did to Stan Edgar was getting his stepdaughter to betray him, but who knows? We've all seen the guy kill an innocent civ for supporting Starlight, meaning that he's certainly capable of doing much, much worse. At the same time, Ashley's decision could very well be what sets Operation Homelander to tear down in motion. Maeve's return to the show's Season 4 still remains an unanswered question though. So, is Maeve going to be back in Season 4? We obviously can't be sure just yet. What we know so far is that Maeve is certainly alive and has been provided with a new chance to begin a normal human life with Elena. We don't think it makes sense for her to return to the show, especially after she highly emphasized an emotional final scene. Dominique McElliott's character is publicly dead, and Kimiko, Frenchie, Huey, and Starlight are among some of the few people who know that Maeve is really alive, but it doesn't seem likely that any of them would expose Maeve Maeve's secret, since they understand how important it is for Maeve to have a private, normal, and happy life. The only person who wouldn't care about Maeve's wishes is Butcher, but what is he gonna do with a human Maeve without any of her powers? As for Homelander and him finding out that Maeve is alive, well, it's not very likely that he'd want to seek revenge on a powerless, weak Maeve, especially now that he has everything he could possibly want, to be the sole leader of Vought and to have his son Ryan by his side. The only possibility that remains comes from a theory about why an intimate scene between Maeve and Butcher was shown. This is where a crazy theory of Maeve's pregnancy comes in. In episode 5, we see Maeve have with Butcher, and it could just be that the scene holds no significance and that it was just a random scene for the sake of having it in the show. But it could also be something much bigger. What if Maeve got pregnant following that encounter? Because she was in a committed relationship with Elena, so her being on birth control doesn't seem likely. So what if that's what happened and Maeve returns to the show with this news? It would certainly fit in with the traumatic parent-child relationships theme of the show. And this sounds really crazy, but imagine if the child turns out to be a soup. We'd really love to see that clash with Butcher's kill-all soups agenda. We know that Maeve lost her powers, but it didn't when she was involved with Butcher. We don't know. And this show is where a guy exploded because there was a soup in his private parts and he sneezed. And it has crazy octopus tentacles. Is a good old lesbian pregnancy really that big of a stretch? And lastly, do we know when to expect Season 4 of the show? Season 4 of the show was announced before the show even ended, but there is no premiere date as of yet. It makes sense too, since the third season just ended, right? What we do know is that the shooting for Season 4 will begin in August this year. Carl Urban was actually the one who revealed this piece of information. In an interview, he talked about how the shooting may begin on August 22nd, and how he was ready to get his Butcher back on because he couldn't wait to go back on set. Okay, so if the show begins shooting in August 2022, it wouldn't be the biggest stretch to expect the new season to be released by summer 2023, but only time will tell. That's a wrap for this video. Why do you think Ashley deleted security footage of Maeve in The Boys season finale? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.